Good evening. I'm going to call to order the April 23rd, 2025 Town of Trumbull Water Pollution Control Authority meeting. I've asked the clerk to please call the roll.
Frank Brigneri,
Here.
Bruce Elstein,
Here.
John Green,
Here.
and John Breik. We have a quorum.
Hopefully, all three of us were at the last meeting. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes from the last meeting of March 26th?
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a vote. Margaret, the motion passed with unanimous consent.
Thank you.
We're going to go right into new business. I'm going to turn this over to Bill for COVIX application number 32 for the Reservoir Avenue Pump Station. Bill?
So this this is the final pay app with the balancing change order. The pay app is for $14,841.45, and the balancing change order. If I can share my screen.
Margaret, can you please note that John Burke has joined the meeting?
Thank you. Yes.
Sorry, had a lot of computer problems.
It's okay.
Oh,
We literally just started.
yeah. I don't know what you're seeing, if you're seeing the right.
Nothing yet. It's coming.
It's
Yeah.
coming. There you go.
So this is a balancing change order.
It's just showing the last page of the change order,
Yeah.
not the beginning.
Well, that is, you're showing, the first page is this, which is what the change order is. It's change order 5-1. We have the canopies for the gutters on Old Town Reservoir. It was a plus number.
Right. That's the first page of the change
Right,
order, which is not the first page of what I sent them.
Right. The first page
Okay.
that you sent them was the pay app.
Right. Okay.
Right. I wanted to just let them know what the change order was. So the final number on the change order is a negative $37,903.09. The final contract amount adjusted for the increases and decreases. The final contract value was $3,351,785.07. This number here. And the final pay app reflects that number, the 3,351,785.07.
So in total, their change orders was 171,720.
The change order, right, it's 14,000. No, I take that back.
In
It's
total, all the change orders.
Yeah, the line 2.
line 2, that's correct.
Yeah. So about 5%, a little under
Yep.
ish.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Now let's
Yeah.
have questions.
Were there any real surprises in there, Bill?
No. The real surprise was the amount of time it took, not the amount of money it took.
Yeah.
I
Keep our
mean,
fingers crossed. we're not getting hit with a delay claim.
We, this project started in 2021. Right after COVID, and we waited for generators, we waited for poles, we waited for equipment. It was just a nightmare.
If I recall, was there any force main in the road with this pump station?
So we had to do a portion of this to make the connection for the force main, but that wasn't the force main.
So you didn't replace any of the force main?
Not on this project, no. That was a separate project altogether.
Reservoir Avenue, this isn't the one on the guy's front yard, right? This is the one on.
Yeah, no, it's Reservoir in Old Town. This is both of the projects together.
Oh, okay, all right.
So
So
these are
he'll
both-
he'll sign a full and final release and he'll be paid all of his retention, or does he still have punch list to do?
No, he's all done. There's no punch list left.
All right, so what's the net that we have to take care of here?
We gotta pay him.
Bill, I wanted to ask
Yeah.
you, do we have other pump stations lined up now for the next?
Yes, we have the preliminary pump stations that we're doing, the Wildwood, Whitney and Merritt.
Wildwood?
Arcadis has been out and looked at the 3 pump stations. They're preparing preliminary designs. We should have some scope to go through, probably towards the end of May, beginning of June.
Well, do we,
We visited Wildwood and Whitney.
Mhm.
So, and Wildwood was kind of frightening, actually. And Whitney, we could see the need. What's the deal with Merritt?
Merritt's, so Merritt is between Wildwood and Whitney in status. It's, it's reaching its end of life. We have HVAC issues there, we have pump issues there. It's, another scary station.
Okay.
But we're planning on going out to bid soon, right? With all 3 or?
Yes, yes. Well, we're doing the preliminary studies to figure out what we have to do, what we have to design for. And, then we'll have a better idea of the full design scope.
I drove by the pump station near the transfer station the other day. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
The what's going on in front of the transfer station? That's not ours, is it?
That's ours. That's another one of my projects.
what are you doing
Well,
there?
your project, not ours.
Right, it's not WPCA. Not yet. There's 2 force mains that come up from Main Street there, but yeah.
I assume they were trying to make turn lanes or something over there.
Yes, we're doing turn lanes into the transfer station.
Yeah, every Saturday that's an adventure, particularly for the people coming in from 25.
Yep.
I come from the other way, so I usually can get in pretty quickly, but sometimes that side is just completely backed up.
And the worry there is the fact that it cuts off, you see people driving in the shoulder because you have 2 lane, there's almost no way to get an emergency vehicle past the cars.
Oh yeah, you have people driving on the wrong side of the road to get
Yep.
past the lines. So it's a worthy project. That's although it was nice having sort of a buffer to the transfer station, but I guess that's gone. So
Well, this project's been in the work for about 7 years now.
okay, all right. So back to this project. What do we have to do here?
We have to approve a change order number 5 for $14,841.45 for the last change order that closes out the contract, the COVEX contract for the Reservoir and Old Town Pump Station contract.
So,
So-
you're, excuse me, but Frank, you're approving the payment of $14,841.45.
Oh, that's right.
The change
Oh.
order, is a negative number.
But we are approving change order 5 though, right?
You're approving change order 5, but change order 5 isn't the 14,000. The pay app is 14,000.
But we don't
So do we have to,
usually
those have to be separate motions or one?
Well, if it's one change order, we can do it in one motion.
we don't
So,
we don't
so
typ- we
basically
don't
you want them,
typically-
I'm sorry,
no,
go
we
ahead.
don't we don't typically approve pay applications, do we, Bill?
No, because usually the pay applications are within the contract.
Right. So we're just approving change order 5, and for how much is it? It's a negative what?
It is. A negative 37,903.09.
37,903.09. And that's really what we're approving. Change order 5.
Yep.
Which is a deductive change order in the amount of 37,903.09. Can I get a motion to
So moved.
I get a second, please?
Second,
Let's have a vote. I think it passed.
yeah,
Yes, it did.
yeah, yes.
I didn't see your hand up there, John.
I didn't get
All
it
see
high
is
enough, I guess.
all I see is the top of your head. But anyway, Margaret, the motion passed with unanimous consent.
Thank you.
Bill, is there next thing is yours again. It's the operating budget.
The operating budget went before the Board of Finance. They approved as submitted with the exception that they only funded 6 months of the WPCA new employee.
6 months, so you're gonna hire in January? I mean,
Well,
what does that mean?
We're already down one position, so if we can fill one, we're gonna be doing good. And if we get 2 really great applications, we will ask them to reconsider.
Well,
The
why is it only
approved-
for 6 months? What's gonna happen after that?
No, they wouldn't. So what they're saying is that I can't fill that position until after 6 months we're into it.
Oh, 6 months from now, okay.
Right.
Which position?
Yes.
The one due to the departure?
So we had, as you know, the assistant and sewer administrator left in January of 2024. And we have an acting, Christian has been acting as in that capacity. We are going to promote him to assistant sewer administrator, and then we will backfill his position.
And that's the one that's been approved.
No, that's
No,
always
there was an
approved.
additional.
The additional one we won't be able to fill until we're halfway through the fiscal year.
Aren't we halfway through now?
No, we haven't started yet.
No, it's the new year, so it's basically
it's
starts
next year.
July 1, so it'd be January.
Right.
Merry Christmas. Okay, all right, understood. So other than that, everything's consistent with what we already expected.
That's correct.
Okay.
Right? How about Mr. Nugent, anything to report on the Holly Lane pump station?
I don't know, Bill, have you gone over there yet?
I have not heard anything from anybody. I have reached out to an engineering firm to give me a proposal for the design. And we'll take it from there.
Yeah, no, I was given a contact name. I tried to reach them, left messages, and never heard back from anyone. So my position is we're just going to go ahead and then we'll assess for full 100% of the expense.
Do they have a contact person that you can contact?
Yeah, that's the one I tried to contact.
Okay.
with some kind of manager over the, for the mall. It was not responsive.
All right. Well, we're
You
gonna
have
build
to-
it to our specs, so they'll go with that.
Yep.
Look, the only option they had was to do it themselves. I don't know why that would be more advantageous for them unless they don't trust our skill level to do it. So this way,
Okay.
I would think the
No.
reverse would be true, given our given we've got people who do this regularly. So
yeah, I agree.
so
Well,
okay.
I just want to make sure it's covers us legally that, um, you know, is I don't know how it works in Connecticut, whether you can, this is like serving somebody a subpoena, right? Is there a legal, I don't know how Connecticut works, whether you can serve it with the Secretary of State if you can't get a hold of somebody or what?
But the notice of the assessment,
Yeah, I mean,
well, I'll get it on them. They're registered with the state.
okay.
But
Oh.
but Bill, there's no problem you getting access to the building, right?
No,
Yeah, right. As long as we have access, we can do our work and then we send them the bill. And they're going to finance it over how many years, Bill? Is it 10 or 20?
20 usually.
20, yeah.
I can't ask for a better deal.
Yeah. They don't have to lift the finger, they just got to write the check. So each month.
Right. That concludes what we had on the agenda, but Bill and I spoke and we wanted to share with you something that we were thinking. With all of these development that's going on, especially the multifamily development, we kind of say, oh, we have capacity, or do we or don't we? And we haven't gone back and looked at when the original plan was developed and maybe subsequently modified of how much of the town is on sewer, how much of the town will eventually be on sewer, and how much capacity does that leave us? I mean, each connection is a residence per se, or an equivalent residence. So I think instead of, crossing our fingers and say, yeah, we have capacity, because I think we do have capacity at the pump station, perhaps the main pump station. And I don't think the gravity where we feed Bridgeport on the gravity line, which is where Madison Avenue, Bill?
It's a Sunnydale right past, it goes through the mall.
Yeah. So, but we still need to, we have that whole, I guess, is that the east or the north side of town? That Nichols area, as some of you may recall, we had a contract that we were considering to build out several hundred homes, which was the last of the, Lower Nichols, Bridgeport line area. But we really need to I think we really need to look back, take a look at the system and make sure we have room, because I don't know how many hundreds of apartments are scheduled. I mean, I read the paper with Fairfield, they got a moratorium, but they got inundated with hundreds of apartment applications before zoning to beat the clock, which they did, I suppose. We just need to have a better handle on where we stand capacity wise. And I think a priority here is that this system was designed for residencies, and landowners paid for 80% of the infrastructure. So I think, in keeping with that, we should make sure that we're going to have enough capacity to hook up the rest of the town that's supposed to get hooked up. And I do recall Christine saying that some of the town was never intended to be hooked up, but that was back in the 60s. And like Bill and I were having a conversation, technology's significantly changed now, and there may be no reason economically not to hook up the rest of town. So we'd like to come up with a proposal, maybe, I don't know how much it's gonna cost. But, at the next meeting, we'll put it on the agenda. And we'll review with you what we propose. And then, we'll have a discussion about it. But I think to blindly just keep approving, yeah, we have capacity, to me, gives me, with my engineering background, gives me pause that, 1960s. When was that study done, Bill? 68 or
Yeah,
prior
we're
to
like 66, 68, 67, somewhere in there.
that? Right. So, so I think we need, to put forward a motion to do the preliminaries to define the study and get us a budget for it so that we can come back and have a discussion about it.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to take all that long, but I could be wrong. But I do think that it's important that we do it. And as part of that, I think we need to check and do a more, last time we had a rate consideration for multifamily hookups, we didn't really delve into what other towns charge, what's a reasonable cost to hook up. To me, it sounds like a lot of money when these 140 apartment houses at, what is it, Bill, 3,500 an apartment?
3,500 a unit.
Yeah, a unit. I mean, that's, when you see the amount, it seems substantial. But when you consider that, we have a $200 million infrastructure, it's kind of a deal. But anyway, it may be good just to check with some of the other towns on what they do. It's very difficult to go online and do it and find it. I've tried. We really need to interview some people.
Yeah,
You know.
I had something in Stratford recently where they were charging per bedroom. I
Hmm.
can't remember how much they charge per bedroom.
That was for a residence or an apartment building.
For like a condo project, small project.
It will. Interesting. That must be in
Well,
anticipation.
if you get approved for a building permit and you have a septic, they size your septic based on the number of bedrooms. So it's logical that we might charge as well for connection based on a similar capacity theory.
Yeah. I think that's, the cost is probably secondary because that we would have to advertise and have a public hearing and if we were going to raise the rate. I just don't want to be giving away the store. We do have a bit of a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that we're charging the fair and proper price. Again, to me, when I see these bills for these apartment complexes, it's substantial. But anyway, anybody have any other thoughts of, but I do think we need to really check our capacity and what our future needs are going to be. So that we know when somebody comes forward with a 150 unit or 100 unit or a 50 unit complex, we know we can handle the flow.
I think it's a good idea.
I'll
We
get
can
some proposals so
Figure
that
it out.
we can come up with some numbers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a key part of that though will be the determination as to the strategy for the remainder of the town. There are quite a bit of areas to the north. As we know, the Nichols side, there's a couple of projects that would be left. There's a number of areas to the northern side of town that are not covered, including my house, by the way. Strategy will have to be fed into this concept to sort of get a feel for how much capacity is left for new development.
Well, apropos that subject, I'll just mention that in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission tonight is a, I don't know, 45 unit complex on the Booth Hill corner,
Yeah, Unity.
Booth Hill Unity corner, and also on Reservoir either a 45 unit market rate project or a 105 unit affordable housing for the same parcel. It's
Okay, so
option A or B over there. So
there's a bit of extortion. I shouldn't say that in a public meeting, but um, okay. Interesting. And 45 at Booth Hill and Unity?
yeah,
That'll fit well in historic Nichols
Yeah,
one.
they're gonna love that.
yeah, they've already been out in force opposing it, but a
We're
lot of
kind of
wetlands over there,
destroying,
isn't there, Bill?
kind of destroying the character of the town with some of that
Bill,
stuff.
aren't there, isn't there a lot of wetlands over there on Booth Hill?
Yes, there's a lot of wetlands there and a lot of steep slopes.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I don't
it's,
know how high up there. Do you know what the elevation is? How many stories?
oh, which one? Are you talking about the Booth Hill one?
Booth Hill, yeah.
They're all single family houses.
Oh, they are, okay. I don't know how they're getting them all in there with all those.
They were
topography.
like the Village Design District.
Yeah,
Uh,
small
what-
lots,
yeah.
yeah.
But they're market rate, right? I mean, they're up on Upper Booth Hill, isn't there a cluster of homes up that way somewhere?
Up off of Huntington Turnpike, there's
Huntington Turnpike, yeah.
and then there's one on Daniels Farm Road too.
Oh, you talking about Moorfield?
Moorfield, yes.
Yeah, that's only 10 houses though. That's just, it's a nice project. Just looks like a regular neighborhood. Yeah.
All right. So, Frank, what are you asking us to do, if anything, right
I don't
now?
know. I mean, I don't. Or if I'm just
We have to
wanted
pay
to
for the
get your
study.
input on, is this something, we heading down the right track, check capacity, you look at, we could look at the town from originally, and then, I'll work with Bill on that, but we may want to expand that to say, let's get the rest of the residents in, that makes sense. Because I think on the far north end of town, on, I don't know what that road is, 111 or 25. Remember when that developer was going to come in and give us a gravity main down through
Yeah, by Amazon. It's gonna be
by Amazon, and that opened up a whole neighborhood that wasn't, had no access to sewers before. So those are just some of the things that we want to look at. And then this way here, we'll know. And there are certain choke points within the town that, we need to look at. And I think we also need to look at, Bill, how much development, how much land is there?
well, some of the projects we've already approved. Are they actually happening? Like the one you just mentioned by Amazon, is that actually happening?
No,
What about the one at the old Oxford, Oxford United Health? Is that one going through?
no.
No? Okay. Interesting. Okay.
It's that one's not going through, but that land's not going to stay fallow forever, hopefully. And then,
No, I don't know. The developer got held up for 4 years and decided not to proceed with the assisted living project. So, and he hasn't come up with anything else.
it's a shame. I don't know. I don't think we need approval, do we, Jim, to go at
Well,
least come up with scope of
Hold
work?
on.
And
You got to have money and budgeted, and we have to hire a firm to perform the study. So we would need proposals.
yeah, but we're not at that point now. We're just going to get a proposal
Oh,
scope and
We'll
then
get a
come back.
scope and a proposal together.
Yeah, I know what you're asking. What do you want to do? That's how we move it forward.
All right. So next meeting, we'll get it on the agenda, and then we'll discuss it, and then we'll have a vote then. Bill, what is your cutoff for competitive bidding?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you're gonna talk to 3 firms, or is it, can we go to one firm? I don't know. Is that
Well,
what
we
you-
could use on-call. I mean, this is something that, I mean, we've been working with Wright Pierce for 10 years on.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Let's
getting
go.
at. Can we just go to them and get their proposal and price? Is there a limit? If they're on call, is there a dollar limit on that? before you have to get,
We can't
you
just
know,
get one price. Can't do it. You need competitive. Got to get three. That's the purchasing policy.
within, if you're on call, isn't it within a certain dollar value?
No, that on-call is, no.
I would argue on call is for emergencies.
I
This is not
agree.
an emergency.
No,
Right.
professional services, well, we,
I agree. It's not an emergency.
No.
It's
You know,
essential.
again-
but not emergency.
Well, it's in our interest to get more than one bid on the thing.
Yep.
Why
Sure.
wouldn't we?
we'll get them
We'll-
all to
we'll-
bed.
We'll do it. All right, with that, does anybody else have anything else to discuss?
Nope.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second,
Have a vote? Margaret, the motion passed with unanimous consent. We'll see you guys all next month.
Thank you.
Okay.